Hey guys, here is my war number 4 fights. First up we have a Mangog with the read on this note. I ended up playing this pretty poorly, but thankfully, reads evade and everything makes it so I don't end up losing too much health. But yeah, reads a solid counter to this, because he's just so tanky. Pretty much the main reason he's good for this. You can use Doom as well if you want, but I wanted to try and get some extra Reed pre-fights, and that's why I'm using Reed here over Doom. Normally I would use Doom, but yeah. Yeah, the start of the fight, you're playing pretty passive to try and let, his passive power help for strike counter. And yeah, main thing is you just don't want to let Furies build. We dash back into our L1 there. And yeah, we're in a decent position now. Eddie has that extra power from that. This heavy was dumb. I don't know why I did that. I'd practiced, and it was in the corner that it would be fine to throw it, but I wasn't cornered enough there. So yeah, just dumb. Yeah, very slow fight. You don't really get off much damage, but you will end the fight quickly enough. And yeah. Here he gets the Fury from hitting into that Unstoppable, which sucks a little bit because we also didn't get to refresh the debuffs. And now he's going to be Unstoppable and Stun Immune from UA. So now we just got a Dex in the corner. And Evade is doing that. Staggers are healing me up a bunch here. And you see how little damage this L1 does. Like, effectively no damage on that L1. I shouldn't have thrown the heavy here. Thought I was able to throw a heavy, but I was not. He parries this. Yeah, you're able to dex out after the AI blocks your special, so I wasn't too worried about that. And yeah. It happens again, but again, able to dex out after the AI blocks your special, so it's not a big deal at all. And yeah. Just waiting for UA here. Throwing my L1 again. Just getting off chips damage where I can. And yeah, we get to kill him with the stun, which is nice. Because even though I lost those Petrify and all that debuffs, we end up getting one more pre-fight anyway. And yet then we have this Ihulk, with Moman, a really, really easy fight with Moman. He gets really passive AI here, which lets him build a couple of Furies. I go for the strat of throwing an extra heavy, because normally it's fairly safe, because if you eat a combo with Moman, even with a few Furies, it's not going to kill you, especially since I have an Invuln on here. So I decided it was safe to do that, just to keep the fight in good tempo. And yeah, now we want to get this heavy off, but here he just decides to not do anything. And yeah, he stacks up a few Furies, but it's not enough Furies to the point where it's going to matter. 6 Furies, you're still able to make mistakes with that using Momans, yeah. Not within the realm of danger, but it is a little bit scary, of course. And yeah, he's almost dead at this point as well. So yeah, Moman just really good for this fight, as always. And then we have a Doom on 20. I mean, a Man-Thing on 20 with Doom. Pretty simple fight here. I've done it a bunch of times now. This time we only go for, I believe, 1 L3, and then I went for 2 L2s, and that killed. So yeah. It's not... it's another nice way to do the fight, not the normal 2 L3s and then an L2 strat. That is ideal, but it just lined up better to do this way due to the AI I was getting, so yeah. Really passive AI on this fight again. Just getting really passive AI in general everywhere in the game. Yeah. And now we want to get to our L3 without, doing another hit. So yeah. And we're at our L3 now, and we have Conflictor ready so that I can apply a debuff and get some extra power after this L3, which is a nice way of lining things up. I mean, not Conflictor, Masochism ready. so I'll be able to use that for power. As you can see right here. Oh wait, no, I didn't have masochism ready. I was thinking of a different L3, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I might be able to get to the second L3, but it just wasn't happening. Oh wait, no, I do get a second L3, I just don't get the second Fury with it. Right, okay. My bad. And yeah, going into this, we're gonna throw L2s after this L3. And we are good to go ahead and win the fight now. We're gonna get a lot of power back here because a lot of Mystic Dispersion and Mystic Power Bags and everything is lining up at this point. And yeah, fight's over. And then next up, I have a Sassy on Footloose. A pretty standard fight with Doom. Not too difficult. The main thing you want to do here is just get the L3 when UA is down and everything, so you can get as much power from the L3 bag and go spam your L2s with that Fury. And yeah, that's the basics right here. We go for just one L3 and then an L2, and then the way it lines up, he's pretty much dead after that. And I accidentally blocked that L1. I thought I dexed it, but guess I didn't. And yeah, we get the stagger back up through the shock through block, and now we instantly throw our L3. UA is down on a good enough timeout for us to throw this L3 comfortably. And yeah, we're going to get to our L2 during it. And yeah, just going to be at a very, very comfortable spot in this fight already. And yeah. Throw this L1 with the armor up to get all that Mystic Dispersion power there, and he enters Wrath of Tanarak, which is great. I wanted to just get off a little bit of extra power before I went into that L3. And yeah, now we just wait out Mystic Dispersion. And we're going to throw an L3 when all the Mystic Dispersion feeds us our L3. Just waiting for these buffs to fall up at this point. And yeah, throw my L3. The UA is close, but it doesn't matter because the fight's just going to be over before UA triggers. So yeah. A pretty easy fight with Doom. And yeah, next up we have a 27 Spider Ham with Momon. Really easy fight. I turned on suicides for all this because I wanted to be safe. And yeah, this Momon, I want to throw an L1 to just end the fight as quickly as possible. Immediately go into Frenzy and everything. And yeah, just a really, really quick fight on Spider Ham. You're going to be able to block unblockable during Frenzy, so you don't really need to worry about much at all here. As long as you can keep the evade counter, you're good. And yeah, I throw a second heavy, and then I'm ready to go into the L1, and then I don't need to worry about heavies at all for the rest of the fight, and the fight will just be over in just a second. And yeah, a pretty easy fight with Moman, especially with full suicides and everything. And now for this Knull, I made sure I boosted big enough to actually chain L2s here, so I don't have to worry about the AI or anything. And it is a high signal, which is nice. It makes it just a little bit of quicker getting to 20 charges and shit. And yeah. Go into Frenzy here. Pretty much ready to end the fight now. Yeah. Block a hit, go into the second L2, and boop. Then we get another L2, and fight's over. And yeah. And then for this Void, I want to get off 2 heavies, and then I want to go into L2 cycles again. Yeah, a little bit annoying with AI here with Mighty Charge, but Molman is fantastic for the fight. So if I wasn't able to get the good AI, I would have just had to take the fight slightly slower and not enter Frenzy earlier, which would have been perfectly fine. And yeah, I should have taken that chance to throw a heavy, but I didn't recognize it quick enough, so I just waited out. And now we're getting this type of AI, so we need to make sure we get ourselves out of the corner. Yeah. We get a parry there, which is nice. Get a parry there, and we're ready to go into our L2 and end the fight. And yeah, decent war for me, 7 fights, and we ended up losing this war on a tiebreaker, but yeah. So yeah, solid war.